In this special limited series, I'm taking you behind the curtain of the 2025 Bendigo Business Excellence Awards. Join me as I spotlight the winners of each category and discover what makes them truly exceptional.
Fabriq.
Melanie Clark is one of the geniuses behind Fabriq, and together with her husband Justin, they have taken out the Manufacturing Award. Mel, second time in the podcast studio. Welcome back.
Thank you, Caleb. Thank you for having me.
Now, Mel, since you were featured on a full episode, that was a few months ago now. Why don't you give us a little bit of an update on how business has been since then?
Yeah, business has been interesting. This year hasn't been smooth sailing, but I don't think that any year actually is. I think one thing that came out of the podcast for me was it actually gave me more confidence in myself, in the fact that being in business for 15 years, I sort of reflected a lot about that and thought, I do get it and I need to back myself more.
Yeah.
And I think with that I have a lot more respect for myself and confidence in what it is that I do. And so that was probably an eye-opener for me.
So good.
But then in regards to business, it's just been a bit of a topsy-turvy kind of year this year. It's just been, I kind of liken it to a bowl of spaghetti. It's never straightforward. It's a bit mushy, and it's a bit all roundabouts and swings and roundabouts, however it goes.
A few meatballs thrown in there as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just messy. It is. But then, lots of ups and downs and roundabouts and things. So, but as you know, if you're in business for the long term,
yeah,
and as I said in my last discussions with you, is that some days you just think, oh gosh, what are we doing this for? But you just always you surprise yourself again.
Yeah,
you think, I just didn't know that was possible. Here we are again. But also too, I think just recently, you also coming to the pointy end of the year now, you look at it and you put precautions in place so that you don't get in trouble like we found ourselves almost 12 months ago. So that's experience.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's learning, right? For those who might not have listened to your episode or don't know what Fabriq is, can you give us a quick description of the business?
So Fabriq our core business is window decor and interior furnishings. We also specialise in upholstery, but mainly our core business is window furnishings for new homes, renovations. We've been doing it for 15 years, and Mum and Dad have been doing it for 15 years prior to that. So in Bendigo for a total of 30 years.
Wow.
And Fabriq, the name is quite new. So back in September 23, we changed from Rian Curtains to Fabriq, which now reflects better who we are, what we do, our services and our products.
Yeah. And the level of service you provide, since the podcast, we've teamed up and we're helping increase the effectiveness of your website through some really great video content, which, by the way, you nailed.
Thank you very much.
Well done. You said it was a year. In the podcast, actually, you said it was kind of the year for getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I can see you've just had lots of opportunities to do that, haven't you?
I know, and it's amazing what actually comes across your plate, I suppose. And it has been about that. It has been about drawing yourself out of the mosh pit and going, okay, it's been all about maybe my personal journey as well this year. But it's definitely been about, the focus has really been about the business, because there has been a lot of change for us with the new brand, but also our new premises. And look, and the economy hasn't helped either, but you just have to try and find an essence or just keep on pedaling uphill to just try and make things work and just get your name out there. And even though you might not be able to afford, lots of advertising or whatever, but I think you have to find the means to keep your name out there, keep being seen, whether that's your promotional videos and updating the website, whether it's the social posts or if it's radio advertising as well too. So, or even other elements of it as well, coming on a podcast, or maybe being a sponsorship for certain events as well too, part of the Bendigo. So, yeah, it's just, I suppose, if you keep getting your brand out there for different events and purposes, people go, oh, Fabriq, yep, heard that. Yep, oh, that's what they do. Yep, I remember that.
It takes a lot of touch points for someone before they're going to make contact and reach out, right? From a don't know anything about you to becoming a customer. So, yeah, I love the many different ways, and the way you look at that is spot on in terms of how many different ways can we meet someone with our brand and our message.
Yeah.
I know it quite well now, but I'm conscious that many won't. What sets Fabriq apart in terms of the wider industry that you sit within and your niche within the building and construction industry?
So what's really our feather in our cap is our homegrown workroom. I always forget that. I just always think that people know that. But we have 4 ladies, staff members that have been with us for a very long time, 2 that have been with us for a very long time. Mum still sews for us, and Donna, she's our casual employee who also used to work for Mum as well too. But basically part of our business is our custom-made drapery and our custom-made soft furnishings, so cushions, bed heads, and other upholstery items as well too. So if you've got a chair that needs to be re-zhushed, we have the facilities to do that. So we're really the only workroom left here in Bendigo that custom make all your window furnishings. There are some pieces that we do send away, but essentially with our breadth of fabric that we have in our showroom, we're able to basically sort of sew anything that needs to be sewn, we can do in our workroom, which is good because it keeps everything local. The quality control is right there and then. If anything is difficult, we're always there so we can work it through with the girls in the workroom as well too. Our workroom and our showroom is all pretty much intermingled together because we've got a lovely window.
It's like a chocolatier, actually.
It is, isn't it?
You can see the work happening from the showroom.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but there's no sweet treats or anything else like that.
No.
But no, there's no testings. And people are really impressed and glad to see that they're coming somewhere local and they know that it's actually being made here in Bendigo. And that's what sets us apart.
It's very unique. It's a wonderful element of your business, and that kind of leads a little bit into the award that you took out. Can you tell me a little bit about what it felt like to be nominated for a couple of awards?
Yes, that's right. So the process was really hard, but I guess in years gone by, I never really and I think also too the award structure has also changed a great deal as well too. I mean, it's been around for 15 years.
Yeah,
long time. Actually, longer than that.
Longer.
It was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I probably didn't. When we first bought the business from Mum and Dad, I remember doing it, and I remember the questions and answers. It was really quite intense, and I just thought, oh. So I did it, and then we didn't get past the submission, and that was okay. But then because there was a lot of things happening just recently with the business, and we had been nominated in recent years as well too, and we were nominated last year as well. But it was just so busy last year, I just thought I just don't have the headspace to do it. But this year I thought, right, okay, put yourself out there, let's give it a shot. We've got something to say this year, and it just felt right too. And I felt that the awards, it wasn't about what Justin and I have built. It was what we have all built together.
Yeah.
And I believed that, and believe, still do, that our staff needed the recognition for what it is that they do. Because what they do, like it's an amazing craft, what Caitlin and Helen and Pam and Donna do. And it's really quite unique. So, so it's so going into the creative field, which you took out. Congratulations.
Thanks.
But I suppose if I was wanting to win an award, it was really going to be the manufacturing award. And I was really humbled to win it.
Yeah.
But I didn't really seem real until the name was drawn out of the envelope too. And I just sort of thought, oh, yeah, whatever, we'll see how we go. And I got nervous like that day. I couldn't think that whole week. So it's like, oh, let's just get Thursday done with, can we? Let's just find out.
How long did you have to wait? Do you remember how long through the night your category was, manufacturing?
I think it was in between mains and dessert.
Okay.
And then and when they were talking about the different entrants for that category, and then rather than going right and the winner is, then they started to go into a bit of a casual talk with JL King and saying, how was it for you last year? And I was just
that's
like,
right.
can you just put us out of our misery? Just answer, who won? Who is it? So no, it was. It was a shock, but I was really pleased that we won it because I wanted and the staff had an amazing time as well, and they got a lot of kick out of it as well, and that's what we wanted. So, but apart from that, it was just it's just great recognition for the work that they do, but for how long we've been in business and, from the very beginnings, from when Mum and Dad started it through to where we are today. It's a great accolade to hang our hat on.
Sure is. And even more amazing, you were up against some pretty big and pretty amazing businesses in manufacturing. To take that award out in that category is quite the feat.
Yes, it was, and I'm really proud of that. And I just thought, that the global enterprise, and I've forgotten their name, but I.
Was it Talus?
Vossloh.
Yes.
And I thought, global, large business, large company, and there was ourselves, Collins Honey and Bridgewater Bakehouse. Yeah, that's right. And I was just thought, how are we all going to go up against that massive global company? And we did it. And I must admit, through the judging processes, there was, as there was the not only the submission that we had to do, but then we had to then present again to say within the 20
front
minutes.
Up in person.
Why we should be worthy of the award. And I felt really comfortable and confident with the manufacturing submission that we did there in person as well too. So that, it was
I
good.
remember seeing you and Justin with all of your bits and pieces. You brought quite the display with you, which I'm sure helped.
I had no idea what to bring, and we just thought, well, we'll take that chair, we'll take that cushion, we'll bring all of these, and we, like we were coming to stay, we had all these suitcases. It was quite ridiculous, but it worked in the end. It was all right.
It did. Yeah, it's really wonderful. I think it was a award really well deserved.
Thank you.
To be the only remaining workroom in the whole city and intentionally hanging on to that and putting that as one of your best steps forward is really wonderful thing to do. And it's bold when all of your competition is saying, no, it's cheaper, it's easier, just get it done somewhere else. It doesn't matter. You're saying, well, no, it does matter.
Yeah, it does.
It matters that when you walk into Fabriq, you get a service that is based on exactly getting you the outcome that you're wanting, but you also get to know that what you've invested in for your home has given jobs to people here locally, but you've got a handmade, wonderful quality
That's
product.
right. Yep.
Who can say that?
No, not very many people. And I just in the textiles industry, there's a lot that needs to be fixed, and perception about, oh, why can't I have it tomorrow? Well, you can't have it tomorrow. One, that you're a little bit further down the list, but also it takes time.
Yeah.
And the thing that is that people can be assured of, and I sort of didn't really think about this until we were doing the filming for our video, for our branding, was that essentially as opposed to a large workshop whereby you can, a project is basically handled by one staff member from start to finish, and like depending on the scope, like if it's a massive house or a house lot and what have you, we might sort of divvy it up. But essentially, customers can be guaranteed that it's either Helen that will finish the job, or it's Caitlin that will do the job, or it's Donna or Pam or whatever. So it's so that's really quite special and individual as well too.
Why don't you drop a little bit of tips and wisdom on us for window coverings? So when I was in there last, I think it just didn't click with me that you've got a wonderful new facility built by
Todd Newman.
Kate and Todd Newman, Newman Builders. Wonderful people. We just featured them on the podcast as well. That episode hasn't dropped yet. But you've got huge, big windows at the front of the building, and it didn't quite click to me until you made sense of it for me that just because you have double glazed windows doesn't mean that you don't need to cover them, that there's not going to be some heat transference, and that there's not going to be light.
The UV rays.
The UV
rays. Exactly.
Yes. Do you get that often? People don't quite click with that point?
No, and it's interesting. I mean, with all the Energy Star ratings that all the homes need to have, the new homes need to have now, it is an oversight that customers don't really think about in the initial planning process. So with the majority of homes, there's not that flexibility to be able to move the house, to have it positioned in such a way. You're always governed by your block. Yeah. And so you might not have a choice that, your living area faces due west, or in the east as well too. And what customers don't appreciate is the strength and the damage of the sun in the wintertime. And because the sun is lower, it doesn't get up quite as high. And we're always welcoming the warmth into our homes. But what we don't appreciate is the strength of the UV rays. And people will find, and I was only at a house last week, that people will find that over time the sun coming in on their floor, especially if it's vinyl planking or even on timber floors, carpet as well too, is that the carpet the dyes in the fibres will actually be bleached by the sun. Even though the UV planks are supposed to be UV stabilised, in some cases they're not, and they actually turn green.
Whoa.
So in such cases, yes, you do need to. So double glazing is great if you can like you let the warmth in and then you close it up, so then of a night time you're nice and warm, so you don't need to put on the heater. But what people don't realise is that if that sun actually comes in, it's still coming through the glass a little bit slower, but it is still coming into the home, and it will, over time, it will damage your furnishings as well. So that's where our window furnishings do come into play.
Yep. Yep. I never even thought too much about it, but it's really fascinating, and the. Another element is how you can, working with you and the Fabriq team early in the design can have a really major impact on what's possible throughout the build process.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to tell us a little bit about the when do clients and customers on a new build often approach you, and what's possible and not possible depending on when they come in?
It's interesting, different, and like if you haven't built for a long time too, it's probably something that you won't look at until maybe 3/4 of the way through the build. Those in the know come to us early. They'll come to us either pre-design stage or during the design stage, before the engineering is all being done, before the frames have all been made, before frame stage, so that we can implement either motorisation or ceiling niches to hide tracks and things like that. Others come to us perhaps a little bit too late, and so they so we're sort of we have to work with what we've got. It's probably all about trying to educate our customers earlier in the process, so that if, like it's a simple thing too about, if people want to have ceiling fixed tracks in their ceiling, that's fine, but we kind of need something to fix it too. So it's always handy if there's a bit of timber up in the ceiling.
Yes.
That's put there in frame stage before the plaster goes on.
Yeah.
If people want motorisation, yes, it can be done. We can do the battery operation and what have you, but there's actually no additional cost if it's actually directly wired into the home too. So if people can come to us before plaster goes on, or even during the design stage of their plans, we can implement all of these little components so that when it actually comes to installation, where it's all pretty much home hosed and there's no and left of field things, or we have to do this but we can't do that because we didn't instigate that type sort of situation. So if we can sort of start the conversations early, unfortunately it doesn't happen as often as what it should, but we still try and make it work. And I think the other thing about window furnishings is about giving customers longevity, and window furnishings with purpose, that it's not about just throwing a blind on a window or a curtain on a window. It's all got to have function, and it's got to last as well. So I'm all about spending people's money wisely, because I think that's important. And you don't have to choose the most expensive fabric to make your windows look great or a room look great. You've got to consider all elements of it. So and to take into consideration colours, if people are sort of wanting a more earthy sort of feel to their home, you sort of adjust it that particular way. So it's just probably getting an understanding as to what their decor might be, but also too, I think what's important is how families move around a home.
Yeah. Lots to think about when approaching window furnishings that I could.
And it can be daunting, but I guess like all people within their fields that have the knowledge and the experience, and we've learned along the way over those 15 years, that you just know. And you're constantly learning. I mean, there's always new products that are coming out, especially when it comes to motorisation and that type of thing. But it's trying to lead customers down the right path so that they're essentially happy with the final result too.
How does it feel to be an award-winning business?
You have to remind yourself of that.
Yeah.
I've even still got the from the gold envelope. I've got that stuck on on a wall by the whiteboard there, and I do sort of see it as I'm whizzing through the doorway. But I think what's important about that from a business owner point of view is actually to recognise it for yourself, and just to take that time to say, okay, yeah, you might be. It's important. Yes, to recognise it for your staff, but also to recognise it for yourself and to give yourself a bit of a pat on the back to say, you did it.
Yeah, you did. Well, Mel, thanks so much for joining me for a second time in the studio.
Thank you, Caleb. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's always an honour to hear a bit more of your story and to platform the great work that you do at Fabriq.
Thank you very much, Caleb. It's been an honour.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning into this episode as part of the limited series Team Up with B Bendigo and Hebron Films, featuring the winners of the 2025 Business Excellence Awards. There are 13 episodes in total in this mini-series, so if you're at all curious about the other award recipients, then head over and check them out. We also have a new episode of Remarkable Regional Business dropping every fortnight, so please follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And finally, if you know someone who has or runs a great regionally based business and has a remarkable story to tell, then I would love to get them into the studio and tell it. You can dob them in at hebronfilms.com/podcast.